guys, today we are going to talk about scarcity. And scarcity is when you don't have enough of something. So for instance, in our classroom, if we have 20 students but only 15 pencils, we have a scarcity of pencils because there are not enough pencils for everyone to have one. Now for farmers, it's really important for them to think about scarcity because they have to provide food and water to the animals that they're in charge of. So we're going to be talking about scarcity today with animals. Now I'm sitting on top of a hay bale, and behind me you can see a whole bunch of hay bales. Now one of these hay bales is a 5-foot round hay bale. It's about this tall on me if I'm standing up straight. And one hay bale weighs about 1,000 pounds, okay? So it weighs a lot. It weighs a lot more than a person weighs. Now, one cow will eat about 30 pounds of hay a day, and I wrote a bunch of this out. One bale weighs 1,000 pounds. One cow eats about 30 pounds of hay in one day. So that means that one cow will need the hay of 5 or 6 bales of hay for a whole year. All right? Now, it can be a little bit more or a little bit less, but every cow needs to have about 5 or 6 bales of hay to make them be able to eat for one whole year. So what does this mean for a farmer? It means that a farmer, if he has cows, has to make sure that he has enough bales of hay for a cow to survive. Now, during the spring and summertime, there's grass out in the field for a cow to eat. But what happens in the wintertime? There's snow, there's ice, there's lots of yucky weather, and the grass doesn't grow anymore. So a farmer has to make sure that they have enough hay bales for all of their cows to be able to survive during the wintertime when there isn't any new grass to grow. He needs to make sure that he has enough hay bales so he doesn't have a scarcity of hay. Because if there's a scarcity of hay, he can't feed his cows. And then he would have to sell them or they wouldn't have enough to survive. So a farmer has to think through, how many cows do I have? And then how many bales of hay will I need to have for 1 year in order to make sure that I do not have a scarcity of food for my cows? So for my dad, for Mark and Sandy, they have about 300 cows, okay? So in order to make sure that the cows have enough hay to last through a year, Dad needs to make sure that he has 1,800 bales of hay to get him through a year. That's a lot of hay bales. A lot of hay bales. And you know what? It's probably best to even have more than that because sometimes your cows will eat more than 5 or 6 bales of hay a year, depending on how the grass grows and if there's enough rain to make the grass grow. So for farmers, it's really important for them to understand how much their animals will need to eat and how much they need to prepare for their animals to eat. Because hay is made in the fall. They cut the grass down from the field and they have to rake it and they have to make it into these bales of hay. So the farmers have to plan to have enough bales of hay or they have to buy the hay from another farmer. So I want you to take a look around, and Madeline is going to scan around for me. This is one area where my parents have hay stored for the year. And there are lots of different places on the farm and at our different fields where the hay is kept. So that way when it's winter time and the weather's all gross and yucky and the cows need food, they can go out and Dad can move the hay to the field with a tractor. And let's see, Madeline, can you maybe zoom in down there where there's hay that's already out? You can see that out in the field right now, there are already bales of hay that are set out for the cows to eat right now. You can still see some green grass, but there is not enough green grass out there right now for the cows to be able to eat and survive. So right now we already have hay that's out in the field for cows to eat. Okay, so today we talked about the term scarcity. And scarcity is when you don't have enough of something. And scarcity is very important for us to understand as people, and it's also important for farmers to understand to make sure that they have enough so they can provide for their animals and make sure they have enough to survive.